Former U.S. Senator J. Bennett Johnston said on March 25th that the normalization of relations between Iran and the United States is in the interest of both countries and would act as a magic elixir for the region.
But just think of what it would mean, first for the United States, if we had a friendly and normal relationship with Iran. It would be, as Roger Cohen said, the key to peace in the Middle East. Israel, who feels terribly threatened by Iran, would be free of that burden. Our relationship with Iraq would be so much better. Afghanistan, the whole region would be much more secure, much more peaceful than it is now. It would be the magic elixir for the Middle East.
The former senator was speaking at a policy symposium with the theme of the Obama administration and U.S.-Iran relations on Capitol Hill in Washington, held as part of a Nowruz reception sponsored by the American Iranian Council, AIC. The Capitol Hill Nowruz reception came on the heels of U.S. President Barack Obama's March 20th unprecedented video message on the occasion of the Iranian New Year addressed to the people and leaders of the Islamic Republic, in which he offered a new beginning in diplomatic engagement between the two countries. However, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in a swift response to Obama's message, said that his government would judge the U.S. by actions and not words, but also said, quote, "If you change, we will also change our behavior."
Now it seems to me that this administration under President Obama has done exactly the right thing, has made treaties based upon respect.
He added that the new U.S. approach should not insist on demanding prior commitments from the Iranians. Another speaker at the symposium, Dr. Fatemeh Haqiqatjou, former Majlis deputy and member of Iran's reform movement, said that a halt of uranium enrichment should not be a precondition for talks, and that a full cessation of enrichment should be still the goal of the negotiations. Haqiqatjou, who resigned from the Majlis in 2004 due to a lack of progress in the reform movement, disagreed with popular assessments that negotiations between the US and Iran will be more difficult if current President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and his hardline faction win the June presidential elections. She argued that on the contrary, a win by the reformist camp may lead Iran's hardliners to unite and scuttle any renewed Iran-US dialogue.
The present administration has the ability to control hardliners who oppose any talk with the U.S. The conservatives would gain credibility to rule peace, which would lead other branches of government to support the idea of negotiation. If President Ahmadinejad would not re-elected and by chance a reformist candidate such as former Prime Minister Mr. Mousavi or former Speaker of Parliament Mehdi Karoubi would be elected, the chance of starting comprehensive negotiation would be slim.
However, Professor Hushang Amir Ahmadi, president of the AIC and an advocate of a renewed dialogue between the US and Iran, disagreed with Haqiqatjou's call for no preconditions to talks, and said that he has changed his previous position recently and now believes that Iran should freeze uranium enrichment for a temporary period in order to jumpstart the negotiations. Roger Cohen, syndicated New York Times columnist who recently returned from a 3-week visit to Iran, added during his symposium that a temporary freeze on uranium enrichment as a precondition is irrelevant because Iran can always restart its enrichment program, and the goal should rather be to ensure uranium is not enriched to weapons-grade levels.
I do think it's meaningless, a meaningless kind of obstacle, because you can suspend enrichment and you can start it again 2 months later. And the more important thing is to try to bind Iran into a framework where we assure that the enriched fuel, low enriched fuel at this point, is not being diverted.